Well, folks, we had a late winter storm here, and it's supposed to get up to 45 degrees today and 60 by Monday. It looks pretty right now, but in about 5 hours, it's going to be a giant mud hole. This is the kind of weather we've been having all winter, and it's been one of the things that has held us up all winter. This next week's supposed to be 60 degrees, so hopefully it'll warm up. It's what they said about last week. It really wasn't that warm, and we got a lot of rain, a lot of mud, but it's what we've been dealing with. Just, I think it snowed every week since October. I don't think we went a week without some type of precipitation or rain. So dogs are barking at me. I'm gonna get down here and get them fed, get everybody fed. Me and Anna, we're gonna go shed hunting today. With all the snow, I don't know if that's gonna happen. You won't be able to see any sheds. So I may just play with the horses. We'll see what happens. So get down here, get all these hungry bellies fed. So we decided to forego shed hunting. Miss Anna showed up. I got spurs out here. Gonna clean him up. We're just gonna play with some horses. I'm gonna go get that mare, the Arab mare, tie her up, and get her over there on the tree of knowledge. And Miss Anna's over here working Blaze. He has put on quite a bit of weight, but he lost a lot of muscle when he got sick. So gonna start working him again. These walking horses tend to be pretty thin, so when they don't work. How'd he do?
Good.
He hasn't been ridden since I took that pack trip down into the canyon with fencing supplies, so that's the last time I rode him. I'm gonna go grab this mare and tie her up and see how she does. She is the one with the setback problem, so we're gonna get her over it, see if we can't tie her up here for 3 or 4 hours. It probably won't get her over it totally. Setback problems are ingrained. They broke a lot of halters, they broke a lot of lead ropes. Generally, by the time they have a setback issue, and it only takes twice for it to be a pattern, so no telling how many halters and lead ropes she's broke. When you're working with an older horse, it's really hard to know what's been done with them and what ain't, and we're just on an exploratory journey with her. It is muddy. It's one of the reasons we are going to forego the shed hunting till it's a little bit drier and not as muddy, and a little bit cold today. Wind's blowing a little bit, but I'm gonna go get her and we'll get her tied up. We're just gonna play with some horses. Been wasting hay. She's kind of like that stud horse. You can approach her, but she don't like to be haltered. So I just act like I'm gonna just walk in here and halter. It may happen, it may not. It's really hard to say. So, girl, she has kind of calmed down since she's been here. So, and I have worked with her quite a bit. Just a little bit every day. That's a big improvement over the last time, let me tell you. This is a brand new halter, hadn't been stretched out yet. So I got this lead rope on. She just kind of walks on you and just kind of walks into you. And she's a little pushy, little. Hold on. I always put a safety rope on them when I'm gonna tie them up. going to tie a bowline in it so that it doesn't choke her. Especially with a horse you don't know anything about, it's a pretty good idea to put a safety rope on them. You don't know if they're Houdinis or not. They might pull out of a halter. Lead ropes might break. Bull snaps can break. So we're gonna go take and tie her up. Let her start gaining some patience. She doesn't have very much patience. You tie her up, she gets antsy and sets back. So she's gonna be a productive citizen. She's gonna have to learn to stand tied. All right, folks, here's Blaze. Miss Anna got him all geared up with our synergist saddle. This is a saddle actually that I designed for walking horses back in the day when I was doing clinics and expos. It has a rounded skirt. I really like the pulling breast collar. Got that for it. Actually, my buddy at Double J, he no longer makes Tack. Terry Jones made that pulling collar, and a buddy of mine had this in Tennessee for a while, sitting on a stand in his living room, and Miss Anna went out to Tennessee and picked it up, brought it back so we can use it on this guy. These saddles are designed to sit behind the scapula, so they sit farther back. They were a endurance rider, endurance horse, endurance rider family, and they designed these. These skirts have got a lot of movement. So these fenders, and it's got a drop rigging. Just overall really nice design. But I designed this one, and if you ever want to go check them out, Synergist Saddles. I don't have their website anymore. Been years ago. How long ago was that? Like 2010, I think they made this saddle. I designed it. We had a lot of rings put on it for saddle, for hobbles and saddlebags and stuff like that. So they're all woolly. How much hair did you get off of him? A pile. So we're gonna get him muscled back up, start riding him again, and it's gonna be fun with this Synergist saddle. So I think we're gonna have to get a smaller girth, because that's a 24, and that drop down rigging, we're gonna need like a 20-inch pony girth.
It adds a lot.
Yeah, it does. A drop down, but it sticks. Instead of that being up here under your leg, it's way down here in the curvature of the horse, so it's not in your way. It does hurt. This saddle's really comfortable. I rode a lot of miles in it, and still looks as good as it did when it came out of the box. So all right, Mr. Curious over there playing with the stick. I'm gonna get spurs cleaned up, maybe get a saddle on him, ride around a little bit. This is what they do. She sat back. She was sitting back. I wish I had the camera going when I tied her up. She was sitting back while I was tying her up. But this is what they do. Move around, move around, move around. She just needs to learn some patience and learn that she can't do what she wants to do. And these trees really help that. She's pawed those stumps over there, scattered wood everywhere. But a tree of knowledge goes a long way to helping a horse learn to be a horse. I haven't had the opportunity to go riding since Christmas Day, and Anna and I went out that day, and she rode Cowboy and I rode another little horse that we had here that you see on the opening of our videos, a little white horse. And Spurs hadn't been ridden since
I believe, the end of October. And Blaze hasn't been ridden in about 10 months. So Spurs is a little bit full of himself. I just get right on him and go. He's usually pretty good, but he's got a lot of energy. But one of the things we do to help a horse, particularly one like Blaze, he has in the past, when we haven't ridden him in a while, he has got kind of bronchi. So what we'll do is kind of snub him to another horse, and having another horse there, whether you're colt starting or you're just getting on a horse after a long time off, having another horse there really helps relaxes them. They're used to being together, so it kind of releases some of the tension that they have, and we try to reduce the chances of anything bad happening. And I heard somebody say it the other day, prior preparation prevents poor performance. That's the P's, I guess is what they call it. But I always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we try to take all the necessary steps we can, just like if we were starting a colt. Anna's going to get up and down on him, make sure that he's okay with everything, and her showing up on his other side, and Spurs being right there kind of blocks him from being able to react. And I see a lot of things go bad because people just take it for granted that, okay, the horse is going to be okay. That's one of the things that we try to overcome, is not taking chances. I think a lot of times people's pride gets in the way and go, I can ride this horse, and the horse hard to know by now. And the reality is some horses are better than others, and the more spirited they are, and the more what I call hot-blooded, and it's probably not a real good term. It's not a scientific term, but the more hot-blooded they are, the more things are likely to get a little western. So we try to reduce those things from happening, and it really helps the horse, and it helps us. Just takes a little bit more time, and it really beats hospital bills and horses throwing somebody, or tack getting broke, or anything like that. Here Anna's just going to get up on him. He was pretty calm about the whole thing. Those are things that I look for, particularly when my kids are involved or somebody's involved. I want to not take any chances with something bad happening, and it just makes for a more solid horse. Here we're just moving him around, a little bit more controlled. I've got him kind of ponied off of the other horse. We'll switch up sides. We'll get him moving his feet here in a more controlled environment. Once that I see he's pretty calm with everything, then I'll take and turn him loose and let her ride him around. And there's folks out there that probably say, oh, you rode this horse, why don't you just get on him and ride around? And there's a reason for everything that I do. And one of the reasons that I'm not in worse shape than I am, I've had horses break me all up. I've got torn ligaments and bad joints, and been dislocated every way possible that you can think. One of the reasons I'm not in worse shape than I already am is because I take precautions. That's a problem with people who take horses for granted. You can't ever take them for granted. That's when you get hurt. And here lately, we've had a barrage of what I just call stupidity in our comment sections on our videos, even on social media, about the way we live and the way that we train horses. And there's a simple solution. Just don't watch our channel. That's the only advice I can take and give. I don't know why it is that people believe because they watch a video or they see a clip or a photo that they have the right to just run people down. And this week it just seemed like we got just a barrage of just stupid comments. And probably the biggest misconception out there is people will watch our videos and then they think they know us. They think their preconceived idea of us. And some people are just trolls. They just get out there on the internet and just troll people just to give people a hard time. And the advent of social media and all this stuff has really emboldened people. They even go as far as running down my friends on my channel. I had that happen this week. And it's really disappointing in humanity that they have sunk to such a level of interaction, because they wouldn't walk up to me and do that out in the real world, just out of fear. The things that people say, the hurtful things that people say on the internet, behind a keyboard with anonymity, it just emboldens them, and they get this idea built up in their mind that they're actually more important than they are. So if you're one of those folks, my advice to you is just go find some other channel to watch that more is in line with how you think and how you believe, and just leave the rest of us alone.
As you can see, folks, most of the snow is gone and we're left with mud. Little mare's still tied up, doing good. Me and Miss Anna went for a ride. Oh, Blaze did pretty good, didn't he?
Yep.
Get him untacked here. We don't have a short enough girth for that other saddle, so she had to ride her old roping saddle. But Blaze did really good. He's a little bit jumpy, a little bit goey when he wanted to come home, but first good ride after the winter, huh? Mm-hmm. Enjoyed yourself? I'm gonna get this big boy unsaddled and we're gonna go eat enchiladas. So remember, until next time, be excellent in what is good and be innocent of evil. We'll see you later.